blow some football minds.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Much better divisional round games than wild card games, I thought. What a week of football. That weekend was awesome. Any football fan, I mean, all the games for at least the first half were exciting, and into it was anyone's game for a while. And let's jump right into it. We had Ravens Texans first off, 34-10. It was 10-10 at half. And it just looked like maybe there was going to be some Stroud magic, but in the end, and the news came out today that it was a Lamar Jackson halftime speech that got these Ravens flying off the ball.
When we add up all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying.
And after the quarterback in the second half to score 24 unanswered points in the second half. Stroud was a fun ride, but I think in the end, when you look at the score, you always kind of knew that Lamar and the Ravens were the team to beat here in the AFC.
I didn't know that. I thought that Houston with the points was a great bet, and I thought that Houston money line was like the sneaky upset. And at 10-10 at half, I was texting you, and I was like, you need to listen to me because I know these things. And then Lamar Jackson gave an $80 million a year halftime speech, and over. Wasn't it that Houston is the first team since the merger not to get inside of the 25, not to have a hike, like a play inside the 25 during a playoff game or some like...
Oh, I didn't hear that stat. That's a Hembo stat right there.
Some ridiculous New York Giants-esque stat like that.
Yeah, that's not a record you want to.
I might have just made that up. I'm at altitude.
Well, so the Texans are the only team. Is this true? I thought I heard this on the Pat McAfee show today, that the Texans are the only team to not make it to their divisional or their conference championship game in the league ever.
Wait, what?
They're the only team to never make it to a conference championship game.
Well, they've been around for 15 minutes. I mean,
right. That was the argument from that, but still, it's a stat that they've got, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see that come to an end during CJ Stroud's reign here.
I guess. I feel like Texans fans have to be happy. Like you
yeah,
got
man.
smoked.
You know, it was a lot of fun being in Houston for that game. The first bar I went to, Walk-Ons, was packed, and I had the family with me, so it wasn't going to work. Ended up at Buffalo Wild Wings, which was also kind of packed, but worked out well because then my wife's friends were like, well, why don't we go somewhere else? You stay here, and we'll let you know the vibes at the next place. And I'm like, great, because there's definitely a seat at the bar. And went up to the bar and made some friends with some Texans fans. Mild crowd at the Buffalo Wild Wings. Wandered back over to Walk-Ons just in case there was going to be an exciting ending. A little bit of a better vibe there. I'll tell you what, though, that city, we were in the outskirts of Houston. We were in Spring, Texas. And, flags everywhere. People are feeling it. People have a little bit of Texans fever down there. And I think you'll see a lot of excitement going into next season. Overachieved this season, but it's got to be a good feeling, right? Resting easy at night, knowing that you have your franchise quarterback for the next decade.
Yep. So, but, Baltimore wailed on him.
Baltimore wailed on him after a slow start.
Apparently, Zay Flowers is a weapon. That's what worries me about the Ravens, is that their receiving core is not what it should be. But, okay, Ravens game, second half ends up being a blowout.
Changed the dynamic of the game, but, it's been made clear that the road to the AFC Championship will have to go through Baltimore.
What was the second game? Was it the Niners-Packers? Or was
Niners-Green Bay. And this was apologies to Jordan Love, because if we had made the comparison last week, right, I would have said the Packers had the more likely chance of getting blown out, and that Houston had a more likely chance of covering that big spread. Not the case, but I will say that out of the 4 games that we've talked about, the 2 just before and now this Green Bay San Fran game, Brock Purdy's the worst quarterback out of anyone on those.
Whoa. Let's take it easy with the word worst. Like,
if it's a 1 through 4 contest, then you're number 4.
Okay.
You're the worst.
If you ain't first, you're last.
What is the worst? Like, the worst pizza is still pizza. You know, like, I don't think I mean, lest we forget, until week 16 or 17 or whenever he had that 4 interception thing, Brock Purdy was the prohibitive favorite for NFL MVP. All right. So like, let's take a step back from ripping on Brock Purdy, and like, yes, Lamar Jackson, you know, who looks like the favorite now for MVP, Patrick Mahomes, who when it's all said and done, people are going to talk about him in the same breath as Tom Brady. I mean, like, yes, he is. I mean, Jared Goff, sure, Jared Goff, but like, let's ease off on Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy, I as a New York Giants fan, I would sell lots of people down the river to have Brock Purdy as my quarterback, other than Daniel Jones.
This is where I think you and I will really have to disagree. I think that Brock Purdy is, he's a systems quarterback, and he's a talent for sure, but he is successful, or the Niners are successful, because of everything else around him. If he were to come to the Giants, he would be nowhere near MVP talk, and I think we both know that.
Sure, but you can make the same argument for like a lot of other young, like, remember when Ben Roethlisberger broke into the league and won a Super Bowl as like a second or third year player, surrounded by all the talent on earth, rarely throwing the ball, you know, more than 15 yards down the field. Like, let's ease off on Brock. I think Brock Purdy is a talent, and in the playoffs, you need to not turn the ball over. No one's asking him to throw the ball 70 yards down the field, but you know what? He held it together, and they won a playoff game, and he didn't have Deebo Samuel for most of the game.
That's also true. I mean, they've got a wealth of riches over there. I mean, the tools that they've got between Ayuk and McCaffrey, who's just
okay. Let's if we're pumping the brakes on people, let's pump the brakes on Brandon Ayuk. I get it; he's been good, but like, Brandon Ayuk is a Brandon Ayuk. I look at, and I look at Brock Purdy and go, Brandon Ayuk Brock Purdy has made Brandon Ayuk a good receiver. Maybe Deebo Samuel has made Brock Purdy a great quarterback. But, like, let's take it easy on Brock.
Let's give Kyle Shanahan some credit here, too.
Let's not. let us stop overrating Kyle Shanahan, who, by the way, Atlanta Falcons fans, let me hear you. Let me hear you, Atlanta Falcons fans who should have a Super Bowl ring. If Kyle Shanahan knew how to run clock and run the ball twice and kick a field goal and not call a play where Matt Ryan gets sacked for a loss of 20. Atlanta should have a Super Bowl ring. Kyle Shanahan, on the regular, screws up clock management.
That's true. You can't have it all.
Regular.
You can't have it all.
That is the number.
He's got everything else. He's X's and O's. He's good. His clock management is bad. You know what's amazing to me?
Important thing. The number one thing a coach has to do is clock management. And Kyle Shanahan has all the talent on earth. Go lay some flowers at John Lynch's feet. That's who built this team. Kyle Shanahan, if you are a bad clock manager, you are a bad coach. End of story.
I mean, I can't say it's fair, because I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. But he's bad at clock management. Speaking of, we'll get into there was a clock management thing in the Tampa Bay game that we'll get to next that I didn't realize until today. But this Niners-Packers game, what a game. I would have loved to have seen Jordan pull it out, or at least put together a little bit of a better drive there at the end. But I think Green Bay was playing with house money. So, again, another franchise that gets to rest easy at night, knowing that they've got a real talent taking the snaps for their franchise the next few years. Let's jump over to this Lions Bucks game, which I think was on